Hello everyone, my name is Christopher Heinen, and this is going to be my midterm evaluation. First, we're going to start off by starting to play a little game of Guess Who. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Did you guess it right? That famous phrase is spoken by your 42nd President of the United States, who did serve 2 terms in office, President Bill Clinton. Now, this phrase evolved from a scandal between President Bill Clinton and a White House intern, where there were allegations that he had an inappropriate relationship with her, mainly a sexual relationship. Also, Bill Clinton marked himself as the first U.S. president to give testimony about an incident where he himself was the focus of the investigation, and that was in regards to that scandal. Bill Clinton repeatedly said he had no sexual relationships with that intern. And after Bill gave his sworn testimony in front of the grand jury, he then delivered a historical and monumental speech, since named, "I Misled People." In this speech, Bill states that all answers that he gave to reporters' prior questions regarding the sexual relationship he was accused of, those were legally accurate. But he was wrong when he did not volunteer any more information. He further goes on to admit that he indeed had a relationship with the intern, and it was not appropriate, but he never did admit to a sexual relationship. But he recognized that the relationship was a lapse in judgment, personal failure, and an act that he was completely responsible for. What makes the speech in my eyes so memorable and a historic moment was that he was able to take responsibility for his actions and still maintain support and admiration from his country. He remains to this day a notable public speaker and influential politician. Now, he owes this to his astounding ability to convey a message through public speaking techniques and the emotions evoked from his words and expressions. So I'm quickly going to highlight a few of these techniques that Bill used in that speech. Bill was exceptionally well at keeping steady eye contact and a gentle personal demeanor when speaking. And he would use subtle eye movements, like raising his eyebrow and add emphasis on words. Throughout the speech, Bill displayed a sense of sincerity when talking to the people of his country and never displayed any emotions of anger or denial through these facial expressions. Bill always kept a low tone and a slow rate of speech, which showed his listeners that he was not trying to cover up anything or avoid anything by allowing the listener to absorb his every word. There was 2 guys by the name of Newberg and Waldman, who were the authors of the 8 Elements of Highly Effective Speech State. Well, they stated, if the facial expression expresses one emotion, but if the tone conveys a different one, neural dissonance takes place in the brain, and that's going to cause the person confusion. The result, trust erodes, suspicion increases, and cooperation decreases. Staying relaxed through the speech, utilizing the techniques mentioned earlier, Bill was able to portray a sense of trustworthiness to the American people. Watching Bill's speech, you can clearly see all of his emotions. By opening up to the American people and showing emotion, he connected with the citizens on a personal level as well as an emotional level. Now, Kathy Sobelkain, author of Public Speaking Tips, says he's able to do this by believing in his message, and then he can easily connect on an emotional level. Sobelkain also states he understands his audience, and he respects and shares himself with his audience as if he was speaking to a friend or neighbor. When Bill gave off the persona of friend, neighbor, or even a family member, it allowed the population to be more understanding of the situation and also forgiving. Before Bill delivered this speech, there was a negative stigma attached to his character. People seen Bill as an adulterer, a liar, and a corrupt politician. But by utilizing his one-of-a-kind public speaking techniques and connecting to his constituents on a personal level, he was able to reverse that stigma and regain the trust and loyalty of his country. United States citizens went back to seeing Clinton as one of the successful presidents who lowered unemployment, lowered crime rates, lowered the national deficit. He increased job production, increased housing ownership, and increased income at all levels. They always say you should learn from the best, and there's no doubt in my mind that Bill Clinton, he's one of the best in regards to public speaking. After watching and listening to Bill, I can better connect my facial expressions with my speaking rate and tone of voice. I see how to better connect with my audience on an emotional and on a personal level. But then on the other hand, Bill Clinton made it apparent to me that public speakers can be economical to the truth and perjure oneself without consequence. Now, I don't see Bill as a malicious man per se. He just did what he thought he had to do at the time. But to piggyback off that last point, I think it's important to realize when a speaker is playing to our emotions. Because all evil men throughout history, they were great public speakers as well. Adolf Hitler was an atrocious man, and he committed atrocious acts. But he was able to win the loyalty of his country through his speeches, when he played to the Germans' fears, and also by calling them a superior race. We can look at Bernie Madoff. That man was able to embezzle millions of dollars through a Ponzi scheme by appealing to people's greed of money. But honestly, we should have seen that one coming, right? If you're trusting a man with the last name Madoff with your money, well, you might as well trust the Cookie Monster with your Oreos.